Michael, go stand back there. Tell us the story.
Yeah, where'd you get this? This Nazi.
Oh, look at that.
Bring it over here. I can't see the camera.
Oh my goodness. We overran a Gestapo headquarters, and they fled so quickly. They left their guns and all of their equipment there, and I got a Browning .38 revolver, practically brand new. It was and they had all these guns. We had one sergeant that he had a duffel bag full of souvenirs that he picked up. He threw away his clothes, threw away his equipment in order to bring home souvenirs.
Is that right?
And they always said that the Russians fought for power, the British fought for glory, and the Americans fought for souvenirs. that was true. This was one of my souvenirs.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Souvenirs. The armband.
Wow.
The yellow armband for the Gestapo.
Hey, Michael, that's like piece of the game there.
Yeah.
That's neat, Dad.
So what was it like? You overran the Gestapo headquarters? Yeah. Were they in there?
They had just fled.
They fled?
You know, as we came in there, then they.
But did you bomb them first with your tanks?
No, we in the town, shelled the town, but you know they hide out as long as they can and then take off. So. But
that's why Dad likes Europe so that's why he loves to go back to Europe.
So that flag is how old there?
What year was that?
Yeah, how old?
How old was I?
Yeah.
No, the flag.
Well, no, when you got that flag there.
How old was that flag?
19 years old when you overran the Gestapo?
Yes.
What year was that,
So
Grandpa?
what year was it? 19, so he would be 26.
War ended in May 6, 1945, wasn't it?
Any more questions?
So this would be this would be in 45.
Oh,
45.
So you had that about 45.
In the early part of the year.
50,
Yeah. That's amazing.
55, almost 60 some years old.
We went into Pilsen, Czechoslovakia. That's where they have the Skoda arms factory, big factory. We made all the weapons. A lot of the Nazi weapons were made there at this big factory. And then that's the home of Pilsner beer. And you know they have the Pilsner beer, and it's all started there in Pilsen, Czechoslovakia.
Wow.
Grandpa liked the Czechoslovakian people. I always told him he should have married one of
We
those
had to
Czech
wait
girls.
there. We could have taken all of Czechoslovakia, but because of Roosevelt and Stalin's agreement, we had to wait there at Pilsen, Czechoslovakia till the Russians came from the east and ran to take about 2/3 of Czechoslovakia. And so that could have all been for free, but instead that all turned communist, the eastern part, and we liberated the western part.
Now, did you ever meet the Russians? Did you ever?
We met them.
How were they?
Very rough and just rough speaking. We couldn't speak their language, but you know, but they were cruel. The Russians were against the Germans, Americans, and men that were in their 60s. The
Germans were
60s.
60s.
Wow.
Yeah, they were, because they'd lost so many men, and they just you know, they had to, and they were taking those that were physically that had been turned down before, but because of various illnesses and that, they would take them in, and because they were desperate for manpower.
They had prisoner of war camps in what were they called, camps, prisoner of war camps?
POW camps.
In Iowa.
Really?
There were some prisoner of war camps in Belmont. Wasn't it Belmont, Iowa, over there?
There had several around.
So tell us about when you came back, about, what's his name? Bob DeWeese. Tell us that story, sitting on the stairs.
Oh. Well,
You're a Presbyterian.
that was after the war was over.
He was home.
And Bob DeWeese, well, it started earlier than that. Charles Leeming, who was pastoring the Open Bible Church in Waterloo, Iowa, had a radio broadcast. And we, at that time, we just had battery radios, but I'd listen to Charles Leeming every morning before I'd go to school. That was in the early days of the war. They'd come on with the theme, "In desperate days, have faith in God. You'll find it pays to have faith in God. His word is true, He'll see you through. Have faith in God, have faith in God." And so I'd listen to him, and then they announced that they were going to have a camp meeting up in Waterloo, which is about 65 miles from my hometown. Somehow I got up there to go to the camp meeting and got acquainted with them. And we were still in the Presbyterian church, going to Presbyterian church. I was teaching Sunday school. My dad was Sunday school superintendent, and he was an elder in the Presbyterian church. And so after I came back, then they announced on the radio that Bob DeWeese was going to come to Cedar Rapids and start an Open Bible Church in Cedar Rapids. And so they were beginning the meeting on a Sunday afternoon in a second-story building downtown. And that Sunday afternoon, I was waiting on the steps for the doors to open. And I never went back then to the Presbyterian church. The Presbyterian elders came and tried to persuade me that I was getting into all kinds of error and problems, but I stayed in the Open Bible, and then later on, when they crowded my folks out of the Presbyterian church, then they came in and joined the Open Bible.
What's neat about that, John, is that I was in Mason City. I was, of course, 3 years younger than Dad. You know, I was just still quite a bit younger. But my grandma Gorm, and her daughters, my aunt Frida is still living, they would listen to Charles Leeming early in the morning, that same radio broadcast up there. And Frida would listen to it every day before she went to work. And Brother Charles Leeming was a shirt-tail relation of my grandmother.
Oh.
You know, just sort of shirt-tail in the family somehow. But I remember that radio broadcast too. So Dad's roots and my roots, spiritual roots, are a lot the same, you know. That's why I think it's kind of neat that the Lord brought us together.
It's neat.
You know, we liked the same thing. We shared the same calling. We had the same interests. That's very important too, I think.
Yeah. All right.